Hi, everyone, and welcome to the first Plan With Me Monday Motivation for January. And this is actually the first of 52. So we're going to actually keep doing these for the entire year. So if you're here, say hello. I'm going to move the mic. I recorded some videos the other day with the mic like right up here to my face, and it was way too loud, so I'll move it back and spare you the pain of listening to that. So there is a workbook. So if you're on my mailing list, you got the workbook. If you're not on the mailing list, I will add, I think I added a link below. If I didn't, I'll do that right after this. But yeah, who's here? Shelly is here. I'm tired. I feel like today is the first real day after the holidays. Yeah, it does. It totally makes sense because last week was a short week, which for some reason felt like it lasted forever. But yes. Course review. Oh yeah, I saw your course review post inside there, and it actually inspired me to do another live stream this Thursday. So we'll talk about that in a minute. Hey Tasha. Hi Karen. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. So Monday Motivation, if you have never, ever joined one of these, it is basically just a recap of what I did last week, what I plan to do this week, and also just to kind of stay on track. So I did this for last year in January, and I'm doing it again. I did it last year in December as well, because I just love December, and we are now going to do it forever and ever. So yeah, so it is perfect weather. And if you didn't know, this is National Hot Tea Month. Not that you can see my tea inside of here. I have those little things from, what is it, reishi mushroom or something like that. And I have no idea if I'm even saying that correct, but supposedly reishi mushroom, ashwagandha, and tulsi tea are all supposed to be like restorative, relaxing teas for your nervous system. So in theory, fingers crossed, it should help with my anxiety and panic attacks. So I've been trying to drink a lot of this tea. I put a tiny little bit of cinnamon in there as well, which is supposed to be an anti-inflammatory. But yeah, so this, if you've never been here, this there's a workbook that I made for December. I made you a new one for January. It is the same workbook for each week. It goes through the Scrum format, which if you're not familiar with that, it's a classic project management term where we go through what went well last week, what your plans are for next week, and like where do you think you need help. So let me go ahead and share that with you. Okay, here we go. Here's the cover for the workbook. Again, I think the link is below. If not, I will definitely add that. And then inside of your workbook, it has the link for each of the Monday Plan With Me. So as far as I know right now, we're doing all of these at noon. I think the last one, the Canva 101, is at a different time just because I had a conflict on that day. But you should be able to just hit each of those and then just join on Mondays. If you're on my mailing list, I will send you reminders for those as well. I'll try to get organized and put those on my website too. And so if you're not familiar with it, I also always say you should do the Lisa method of setting goals. And this is just an acronym. Clearly, I just really like my name. Actually, that's not true. I don't like my name. I wish I had like what kind of name do I don't know. I just feel like Lisa has fallen out of style. It is like an old name from the 70s, and I never see it on TV. Like, you know, TV, there's always like I don't know, a Michaela, there's an Elena, but you never see Lisas on TV shows or on movies. But anyways, so this is inside of Speedy Goals. So the Speedy Goals workbook still available as well. And if you don't have that, I will leave a link to that. If you go back to the December ones, there's a link to that workbook as well. And again, another acronym for Speedy. So I will just list out the Lisa acronym. L is to list out all of your goals. So like just brainstorm everything. I is to identify one thing. So out of that list, in theory, you should narrow it down to one thing per month. And then the next one is ask for schedule it into your actual life so you make sure it gets worked on. And then A is for make sure you axe everything that is not related to that goal and actively inspire yourself with some notes or post-its or reminders or whatever you need. Now, SPEEDY stands for strategy. And so my strategy has always been the doable dozen, just doing one per month. Now, I realize that doesn't work for everybody, and people have clearly some bigger long-term goals that maybe take up more than ate an entire month or even like a few months or a quarter. So you might need a different strategy. But I think if you can plan it out, and you can amplify your execution skills. So, anything that helps you to get things done, as well as ensure you have a clean desk policy. I really think this is 100% the key to really just doing anything in life, is just having less stuff and having a clean desk and a clean work area. Because when you wake up and you go into your office and it's just cluttered with stuff, you can't even think because you're just surrounded by so much noise. But anyway, so D is for deliverables. So list out things that you have to finish. And then Y is your reward, which I always like to reward myself with ice cream. You can reward yourself with something else. But just a quick reminder on what Speedy Goals are. And again, that's the extra workbook for Speedy Goals. It's still available. You can download it. It's free. All right, so this is that time where you're like, what was my 1 January goal? If you don't remember your goal, which totally happens to me a lot of times, especially when I only did the monthly plan with me. So we had a huge month, right? 31 days between when I declared my goal and then when I actually worked on my goal. So it's a really long time. So for the people who are here, you probably, hasn't even been a week. So, or it's been a week exactly. So I still remember it's website migration, and I am sad to report that I have made zero progress. I had the shiny object syndrome. It happened this week. So what did I do instead? I created a podcast. And so I created one for this channel. And so basically, if you are not familiar with YouTube, they added the ability to do podcasts back in, I want to say 9 months ago. So all you do is you take a playlist and you just say, hey, it's a podcast. And that's it. That's all you have to do to make something a podcast. So usually when you have a podcast, it will distribute out to different podcasting platforms like Apple Podcast and Spotify, and honestly, I don't know what else is out there. But with the YouTube podcast, it's distributing it out to nothing. So in theory, so when it first came out back in last year, in 9 months ago, it was supposed to be syndicated onto Apple Music. I don't know if that's actually happened. I don't think so. And then also, it was supposed to be showcased or spotlighted by Apple itself. And so I'm sure they're just like me. They got really excited about something. They haven't actually executed or done anything they plan to yet. So either way, I'm excited about video podcasts. I'm going to do that. So that's the plan. So Monday Motivation is now a podcast. So this is going to be every single Monday. Now, how do you actually get this on Apple iTunes or Apple Podcasts or whatever it's called, or Spotify? I don't know yet. I'll get back to you next week. So I signed up because you have to sign up for a hosting service. And that hosting service, you upload your sound bites, and that hosting service then pushes out your content to all those platforms. So I used to have Anchor FM, which is from 2017, I think. And I started a podcast. I know, I didn't even realize, I totally forgot that I started a podcast. Anchor had the ability to start a podcast on your phone. So I would just hold up my phone and I would record, is it worth it? And I would talk about different software and technology. And that got boring for me. And I think Anchor too had this limit. It was a 5-minute limit. And I talked really fast. Well, I talk really fast anyway, but I had to talk extremely fast to fit it in within that 5 minutes. And it was just too much to fit in. And then I just kind of got bored. And plus, I just liked video better. So I just quit. Anyways, Anchor was sold to Spotify for podcast. And so I am just going to revive that account, figure out how it works now, because it's been, 17? I can't even do the math. 7 years. It's been 7 years since I tried to do something. So I'm going to do that next. And so my point is, as soon as I figure it out, I will let you know how that works. I also created a second YouTube podcast. So over on my Cozy Mystery channel, I have been losing people left and right. People are unsubscribing at mass rates, probably because I guess they just don't like me anymore. I don't know, or my content is boring, and I don't post regularly to there. And then I was posting things for readers, then I was posting things for writers, and then I was posting nothing, and then I was posting random unboxing. So anyways, I have switched that over. That is going to be a YouTube podcast. So that is going to happen every Tuesday at noon. I'm super excited. I actually filled up all of January. It was so easy to fill that up. I was so worried I was going to have a hard time. But I think, especially for me, no one has ever called and been like, hey, can I help promote your book? Never had that. So I reached out to people. I'm like, hey, can I help? Only one author was like, I'm too shy to be on video. So otherwise, everybody said yes. So super excited. So what we're going to do is every Tuesday, and as you know, I can talk forever. So we're going to live stream that, because I think the problem too with the other podcast for me when I tried it, it wasn't just the 5 minutes. It's just that you had to script it and it had to be so perfect. And also, let's not forget, I am a podcast hater, right? Like, I'm always complaining about how boring they are. But live streams to me are just much more exciting. And so this way I don't have to worry about editing. I don't script anything. We just go on, we all chat about the book. And then there's a book giveaway, which I know a lot of people like to book giveaways. So I think hopefully people will be excited that there are book giveaways. And it also is a great opportunity for authors to showcase and talk about their books. So I feel like, I could be wrong, but I feel like this is a win-win for everybody. So every Tuesday at noon PST, I am going to be going live on that YouTube channel just to talk about cozy mystery books. So that is happening definitely all of January. And I think since, honestly, I just kind of thought of this on Saturday or Sunday, and then I filled up all the slots. So I think February, fingers crossed, will be just as easy to fill up. So very excited about that. Also, this is just a, like, I don't know, public service message. Everybody, I kind of feel like I was out of it. Like, everybody knew about Countdown Hero except for me. I don't know how I missed the buzz or the newscast or whatever it was, but I've been using Deadline Funnel. So luckily, Deadline Funnel just was about to renew this month, and I saw an email from Dama Ju. I'm on her mailing list, and maybe it's because I've unsubscribed from like everybody and their brother. I'm just not in the know anymore about what's going on. And so I saw that she was going through her 2024 tools, and she said she's going to stick with Deadline Funnel instead of switching to Countdown Hero like everybody else. And I was like, well, what is this Countdown Hero thing? So Deadline Funnel is expensive. So Deadline Funnel is $948, and that's if you pay for the whole year up front. So I love Deadline Funnels. I've been using it forever. But Countdown Hero does exactly the same thing, except you pay a one-time fee. So it's kind of like, I feel like when circle back a few years ago, everyone was using Teachable and Kajabi and, you know, Podia, and then everyone switched over to Thrivecart because you could just pay one-time fee. And I kind of feel like people are getting fatigued with having these monthly fees. And so anyways, I'm excited. I paid to upgrade. So the upgrade, just so you know, is $67, and you're like all excited because it's so cheap. But there's a small like footnote: if you don't pay for the upgrade, which is like another $100, you actually can't use any of like you can't customize anything. You can't use extra features. So you do have to pay for the upgrade in case you get that email and you're like, should I upgrade or should I not? Definitely upgrade. Now they do have a special offer too. You'll get on their email list. They're called Email Market Heroes. Don't get confused, because they'll send you another email and it will say, hey, if you join our monthly membership, which is $150, then you get Countdown Hero for free. But like, that's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard, because as soon as you stop paying $150 every month, you no longer have access to it. So for the price of like basically a month of membership, you could just have this for life. So don't worry about you get this for free. Who cares? Just pay for it once. And then if you decide to join the membership, which again, I'm sure their emails are helpful. I just don't know that anybody needs $150 worth of help every month with how to write their emails. But anyways, that's pretty much all I did for this last week, to be honest. So you need to ask yourself, how committed are you? I mean, clearly I was not committed at all to this website migration. I was so committed and excited about the podcast. However, I'm happy to report that it only took a couple days to set up. I'm very excited about it. And, you know, maybe this will be like a new turning point where I'll actually be excited about a podcast, even though it's my own, and maybe I'll get into them as well. I don't know. Shelly, I have monthly subscription fatigue. Yes, it's very true. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, there's a little button here where I can add it to the broadcast. I did not know that. Ah, look at that. Okay. Learning something new as we're going through here. Okay. What could help you? So maybe sometimes too, like I feel like you don't do things because maybe you just needed some help. So for me, I just need to watch tutorials, which I didn't do. And I think part of the reason too is like when I put the podcast together, I could show something like it was done. I had a deliverable. It was something physical I could like put out there in the world. Whereas like if I watched a lesson, nobody knows that I watched a lesson, right? Nobody knows that I like watched a tutorial and took some notes. So I think for me, that's maybe the problem too. Anyways, you need to take a look at your week as well and see if there is something you can block out, as well as energy. Like maybe you need to reschedule, get rid of stuff. I know for me, I'm like way better in the mornings than I am in the evenings. Maybe you're just getting overwhelmed by this goal. You could just make it a little smaller. So I did break down my email or my website migration goal later on. And then money, maybe like, I think for a lot of us, you have to pay rent. And it's really great if you do not. And you are like in a great situation where you don't have to worry about that, or you have a house husband, or I don't know, some other situation. It takes a lot of pressure off. But when you are responsible for your rent and your bills, it is something you have to think about, because if you don't have cash, you can't really do anything else. And that's why I always say it's kind of like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You have to find shelter first. And people like laugh like, oh, it's not a big deal. But like you do have to pay rent, or it's going to be an issue. So if you had to stop your lofty goals so that you could pay rent, that is totally okay. And that is not a big deal. Karen, I've got email subscription fatigue. I'm so excited I could show these comments on here. And Tasha, I'm so excited for your pasta. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I saw you posted over on the, I didn't even realize you read Cozy Mysteries, but thank you for showing up on my other channel when I did my other author plan with me. And as I always say, my favorite tools are ClickUp. And if you are inside of Planner Pixies, you have a whole entire lesson on how to set ClickUp up. And I know what you're thinking, that was like ClickUp 2.0, and now they have ClickUp 3.0. Honestly, ClickUp 3.0 is nothing to write home about. There's nothing that exciting about it. So it still works. It did not change the training at all. And in fact, I would say the AI tools inside of ClickUp are just not that great yet. So, and they're not even, I don't know why, they're like slowly rolling it out, and like not everybody has it. But anyways, after I put everything, I do kind of like I did before, like listing out all of my goals. I list out every task I need to do inside of ClickUp. And then each morning I go and I open up Llama Life and I just pick out what I need to work on just that day and stick that into Llama Life. So I know how long it's taking, and it has a timer and everything else. So I am going live. So I really wanted this podcast to be first of all, it's a video podcast, but I wanted it to be every Monday and every Thursday. So I actually, because I spent so much time lining up speakers for the Cozy Mystery, I actually didn't line up any speakers for this podcast, for the Pretty Fabulous one. But I wanted it to be all about planning. And I also just wanted to maybe this Thursday talk about learning. So I think a lot of us have, in fact, Shelly posted about a course that she finally took. And, it's been a while. Like she was on the to-do list for a year, a second year. I am exactly the same way, if not worse. There are people where I've gone in, it was, what was her name? By Regina. By Regina has like such great clickbaity sales pitches for like courses, and she'll offer them like, she'll be like, oh, it's beta for $37. And then I know later she's going to offer it for like $300. So I buy them, right? I buy so many of the By Regina courses. It is ridiculous. And so anyways, I buy them and I don't look at them. And then I see that I have like this laundry list of By Regina courses. Anyways, fast forward. This week, I was like, oh, let me like look at courses I could take. She's deleted the whole school. Like the whole business is totally gone. It's like not even there. And I wrote her and I was like, hey, what happened to my courses? And she's like, oh yeah, I deleted those last year, like early, like not even last year. I think she said 2022. I am so behind in like the courses I have bought. And the ones, I mean, it's okay. Some courses I bought and like I went through it. It wasn't really what I wanted. It didn't cost that much. So I'm like, whatever. Write it off, forget about it. Some courses like hers, she's like so like good at like dissecting information. She has pretty like workbooks and visuals and slides. And I was so sad when that was gone. Anyways, my point is if you are like me, it is possible some of the courses like you intended to take might have been deleted. I mean, have you even checked? So this Thursday, I'm going to do an inventory. I'm going to share it with you of all the courses that I bought and all the things that I want to learn and all the things that I don't care about. So I'm going to actually organize everything that I have purchased, because it is literally like thousands and thousands of dollars of stuff. So I know at least if something was deleted, right? Like, I am so behind. I didn't even know she deleted everything. So anyways, if you want to come back here Thursday, we're going to do that together. If you want to pull together your course list, and I'll show you how I'm doing mine. So like I said, I'm trying to break down exactly what I'm working on and, you know, when I'm working on it and what's going to happen. So website migration, I tried to like break it down into these little steps of watch the tutorials. Here's the freebies page. Here's the shop page. Here's the home page, all that stuff. We do have Sticker Camp Refresh this Friday. So that's another thing I need to get ready for. Video podcasts. Again, I said I'm going to set up Spotify for podcasts. I have no idea how to do that. I will get back to you tomorrow. Writing, I actually didn't write this week. I know, I had this great plan where I was going to write all weekend. And then I was so excited about the podcast, I didn't do any writing. So that is also a plan as well. And then nothing is happening on the Cozy Club Getaway. Molly is on vacation with her husband and the baby. So yeah, so we'll regroup next week. So that's kind of it. But those are which is like a lot of stuff that I need to make it through this week. Stretch goals. I mean, we can just laugh at this page. I know 100% I'm not going to get to any of my stretch goals this week. And so that's it. So what do you need to do next? So after I've talked about everything, what you should do is open that workbook. First of all, download the January workbook. It'll walk you right through this, talk about what you did last week. It'll ask you to revisit your one January goal, determine what tools or training you require, or maybe need a mentor or some help, and then plan out your week. So hopefully that was helpful. I know that I will, fingers crossed, have much more to share with you next week when we do our next monthly plan with me. So just to recap, this is a video podcast. I will I will share the link on how to access it on other platforms. And then this Thursday, I'm going live again. We're going to talk about just learning how to map out all of the stuff that you purchased and a plan for the year. And then also I'm going to go live again on Friday. We're going to do a Sticker Camp Refresh. That will probably not be a podcast just because that's a special one-off teaching lesson. And then if you want access to Sticker Camp Forever, you have to be inside of Planner Pixies, specifically at the VIP, the annual, their lifetime level. And then I will see you again on Monday, which I know is a holiday, and we will do a plan with me. And yeah, so that is what is happening. And it is only the second week of January, so I don't want anyone to freak out if you didn't get everything done last week, or if you didn't get the things done that you thought you would. And I will post links too, because I know we talked about if you have not decided what your goal is for the year and you needed help with that, I do have a couple resources. So one was Marie Forleo's Start the Right Thing, which I know is not on sale anymore. So I'll share some of that and a link to that workbook inside of Planner Pixies, as well as a link to the Decision Matrix, which in theory should help you pinpoint what you like, what product to work on, what course to create, what audience to target, what platform to be on, right? It goes through basically what you're interested in, what you're good at, what your audience is interested in, what they will pay for. So it works too for books if you are trying to decide what to write or what genre. It's just a really great decision matrix that I had found actually through Six Sigma. It's how we do what's called the House of Quality in determining like which projects to work on and which ones not to work on. So that is happening later today. I will post those inside of Planner Pixies, inside of Heartbeat. I know some people, again, I think it's that time of year where people are like looking at old emails. So we have old emails where I used to post the link to Circle. So I have a lot of people messaging me and they're like, the forum's gone. Did you like remove me? I didn't remove anybody. So I think people are just clicking on the old Circle forum. It is Heartbeat. So that's one of you. I think I wrote everyone back, but just in case you're listening to this and you're like, hey, I'm a member of Planner Pixies, but I just haven't had the time to go in or do anything. And it's, I get it because you're busy. We are on Heartbeat now. Circle has totally gone away. Circle was still there, so you could log in right up until I think the renewal was on Black Friday. And so that is now totally gone. So, all right. I hope everyone's having a fabulous, wonderful start to their week and to their 2024. And I will see everybody on Thursday.